Back to Speak Pact. We are going to dive into the world of AI as it relates to speaking. And there is a beautiful bridge between this new way of gathering data and of growing your speaking business and still keeping it very human and very personalized. I have an expert in on this topic here with me on stage today. Aidan Crawford. He is a seasoned entrepreneur. He's been working within AI as it relates to the speaking business for decades, probably before any of us even knew what AI was, beyond sci fi. So, we're going to have a lot of fun diving into that. He's an author, he's a coach, he empowers professional speakers to harness artificial intelligence for business growth. And here at Speak Pact, Antoniette Roze, your host, is all about treating your speaking as a main business, not necessarily as a side gig, even if you do happen to have dual dual focuses professionally. When you do that, that whole beautiful speaker life opens right up to you. Aidan is also the founder of the Association and Society Speakers Community. Did I say that? Ooh, that's a
You got it.
mouthful.
You got it. You got it. AFC. That's it.
Association and Society Speakers Community, and the Speaking Business Club, which we'll go into here in a moment. He merges industry expertise with innovative AI strategies. Aidan's focus is on educating speakers on powerful, practical AI solutions designed specifically to elevate their impact. So, I am all about what he's doing because when you're going to treat speaking as a serious business, you also need to know the tools that are out there. And right now, AI is going nowhere. So either embrace it or be left behind. Right, Aidan?
Oh, I always say the one thing I've been saying for ages is the people who are most impacted by AI are the people that don't use it. And for speakers, it's the opportunities that it has opened up for speakers in the last 2 or 3 years is just unbelievable. When I first got into this racket, well, racket, it's like I'm talking from the 40s. I'll just talk like the 40s like the rest of the time. When I got into the business of speaking, 2005, I was actually the marketing person for a professional speaker. And it was a full-time job researching events that would be appropriate for him to apply to.
Mm-hmm.
And I would spend all week looking for event, using the directories and Google and at the end of it, I've only applied to 4 different engagements, right? Because it was a different world back in 2005. With AI, and this is no joke, and we'll tell you how to do it, you can be applying to 20 or 30 events that are targeted specifically for your expertise and experience every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so the speakers that are leveraging that technology are leapfrogging ahead of the speakers that aren't. So when a speaker says, I don't use AI, or I don't like AI, or I'm afraid of AI, or the one I don't want the AI to have my IP. It's like, guess what?
It already does.
It already does. If it's already on your website, it's already been consumed. The machine already knows it. So now you need to leverage learn to leverage that technology for your benefit, not just the benefit of OpenAI.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to quote you because this is a really good quote. Those who are most impacted by AI are those who don't embrace it.
That's it. Yeah.
It's here. And why not embrace it? So, and I also love, Aidan, that you said that you don't even know my business model, but my business model encourages every one of my speakers that combination of my team and their assistant is pitching them a minimum of 25 times a day, a minimum. And of course, the higher level quality the leads, the better. Sometimes it's really, really hard to get to the bottom of until a phone is actually picked up and there's a little bit more insight. So AI tools, which we implement some, and we're always looking to integrate that even at a higher level, it's a moving target. And tools like this can pick up on those moving targets, right? The decision maker of today, next week, it could be somebody entirely different.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing with AI: you need to trust but verify. That's kind of the whole kind of making peace thing with AI. It will, if you ask it to go really specific and find like the name of the executive director and their phone number and email, it will make stuff up. Like at some point, like there's a disconnect. AI can do so many things, and it can expedite and accelerate your outreach, and 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 really blow the doors off your business. But that it still requires a bit of work.
Mm.
And what I found is the speakers that are willing to do that extra bit of work, and I'm always shocked by the people that are like, well, why doesn't it just, will do the applications for me? It's like, no, it won't do the applications for you. But it can research the event. It can come up with a customized request for proposal application. It can write the emails based on your expertise and with the challenges faced by people attending that event. Really highly customized outreach. It can do that. And I'm always surprised when somebody goes, but why doesn't it just do it? Why doesn't it just apply
I
for it?
love that you said that, Aiden. You still need a human, right? You
There's
still need a team.
very, you
This
know,
is a good foundation. It gets you going in the right track, but it still need the human. I love that you said that.
yeah, being a speaker is a job. The people who are successful treat it like a job. They don't build a nice website, spend a fortune on a website, and go, well, I've got a great website. People are going to hire me because of my great website. I was talking to a bunch of speakers earlier today, and I said, is there anybody here who's ever got a real speaking engagement randomly from somebody visiting your website? And out of like 4 or 5 people on the call, they're like, no. And these are people that have been speaking for 40 years. Their website is there to verify that they're a real business, that they're an ongoing concern. When a planner or a decision maker, you're applying for a speaking engagement, they will go to your website to make sure that you're actually who you say you are. Verify that your business. They may check out your speaker reel. But if you're thinking that I've got a website, I should be getting lots of business, that's not how this industry works.
I love that. Or I'm on 3 bureaus or,
I'm on three
whatever.
years.
I've
And
got
so
2 non-exclusive agents. You still need to put that elbow grease in there, and there's shortcuts to do that. But at the end of the day, it's like any business. If you're gonna open up shop, you still need staff, and you need to trust but verify. I love that you said that. That's my mantra. Trust but verify. And it's always gonna take the human behind the AI to really make it work at an elevated level.
yeah, so like it fits in with your model because like we can, like the AI can generate the emails, it can generate the RFPs, those, but the phone calls, whenever business has been slow, as soon as you pick up the phone and start leaving those voicemails to decision makers, that's when your business will pick up. It is
Mhm.
so easy to send an email. And because it's so easy, we have a tendency to spam our list with like stuff. Oh, I've got openings in September. Sure, you do. You've got openings every day of the year, but you can book me now for September. That's just a spam email to your list, right? You need to do more than that. Sending an email is easy, makes you feel like you've done something. Picking up the phone is hard. Calling somebody you don't know is difficult. But here's the genius. Nobody answers the phone anymore if they don't recognize the
The
phone number.
number. Mhm.
So if you're a speaker and you've got a nice voicemail script ready to go, that's all you need. I have a client I'm working with. He does his calls on Sunday afternoons because he knows he's the guarantee nobody will answer the phone. But you could call 100 people and leave 100 voicemails before anybody actually picks up the phone and says hello. And how that works for a speaker, especially business development, if you send the email and follow up immediately with the phone call with a highly customized email, not some spammy email that just says why you're so wonderful, but talk about the client, not you, and what the problem that you're going to address for their membership or their organization, not how wonderful you are. Follow that up with a phone call. And now you're intriguing enough, to steal from Sally Hogshead. Now you become intriguing or fascinating, and they're going to reply back. And when they reply back, that's when you have the conversation about what is your speaker budget. Because you know as well as I do, you can go through the RFP submission process, and it's only when you get to that last page and they say, we don't pay for speakers. And you've already invested 10 or 15 minutes filling in this RFP. And so then you think, do I hit submit or do I back out? And most of us just hit submit because we've already invested that 15 minutes in, even though we don't want to speak for free. We want to get paid to speak. But if you send the email, leave the voicemail, and have the sales conversation when they get back to you, find out before you submit the RFP, am I going to get paid for this? We got to treat this like a business.
Treat it
I mean,
like a business. And you and
treat
I
it
did
like a
not
business.
compare we did not compare notes before we got on. And you're basically singing my song, which I absolutely love. So I'd like to highlight a couple of the things. Occasionally. So I personally don't think it should be the speaker who should be making the phone calls. I think they need to have a devoted assistant, which in our ecosystem we actually train, support, and manage. But an outreach assistant we coined OA, who is making at least 25 of those calls for them every single day. And every now and then we'll get a speaker who says, but they're just getting voicemail. I'm just leaving voicemails. Like it's a bad thing. That's actually a great thing. I love that your friend, your colleague, purposely calls on Sundays so that he will get the voicemails
Yeah,
because the right person is going to respond to the voicemail, right? And how long does it take to leave a voicemail? 30 seconds, really, on average. It's short, sweet, to the point. And it's smile and dial, right? It's all about the numbers.
it's sales.
Um, I do want to even address go ahead and fill those applications out. To me, there is no unpaid speaking engagements. There's just different kinds of currencies. So some speakers only want that 10, 15, 20, whatever, $1,000 check. But if it's a right fit audience, if I can get on a stage where I know a good number of those people are my right fit people, that's $100,000 audience to me. Even if the host isn't paying me $1, that's $100,000 audience to me. And there's ways to turn those quote unquote unpaid engagements into highly paid engagements.
And this is where I come in with my first freebie tip for everybody to
Woohoo!
help them. So type this into. I'm first of all, I'm going to assume everybody that's watching this is paying for ChatGTP. I'm going to assume it's $20 a month, best investment you'll ever make. Spend the $20. But ChatGTP gives you 10, just the plus version of it, the $20 a month, gives you 10 deep research searches a month. Just as you were just saying, if you were to say, give me a list of every Society of Association Executives chapter in America, include websites and contact information, and hit the deep research, they will give you 50 societies of association executives in America. Every one of those societies contains the association executives for all the associations in that state. So if you're speaking to 50 association executives in Georgia through a webinar, maybe you're just doing a webinar on leadership for those guys. Think of that as it's unpaid, but you're showcasing for decision makers who could all bring you into their different associations. And so I don't mind speaking for free to an ASAE because they're ripe full of prospects that can hire you. And when you do that deep research on ChatGTP right now, if anybody who's watching this, if you do that, there's 50 leads right there that you've invested what 10 minutes into this call. So
I
this
love that. Yeah,
but there's 50 leads right there. Follow up with them.
right. And don't be afraid of dead ends, because for every dead end, you've got it doesn't take many to give you that profitable speaking career where you're getting those 3 to 5 engagements every month. But for every dead end, you're that much closer to that really great connection, right? It's all about building relationships. And I love that you said trust but verify. And one way that I think is a great illustrative way to do this is AI yourself, because it's very interesting. So I AI'd myself, and I'm a professor, a doctor, I'm all kinds of things I didn't even know I was. I don't know where they got those things from. My name is not common, Antoniette Roze, so it's not like they got me confused with somebody else. They took a little bit of what was real about who I am and what I do and what my background is, and they mixed in these. They really made me they boosted my resume about 10x my resume. But that's what you're going. Those are the kinds of results you're going to get with AI. It's not a bad thing because you get now you have something to work with to go and verify.
And I always that is another thing I'm always cognizant, and I'm always trying to reinforce that with AI, it's not always it'll get you. It's an accelerator. It doesn't do the job. It can get you 75, 80%. It's getting better now. That, like, when ChatGPT first came out, it was like about a 60%. It would do a 60% good job. Now it's up to like 85% good job. But it accelerates. It doesn't do the job. It
Mhm.
As a writer, I've written a couple books. The scariest thing for an author or any kind of writer is a blank page, right? You look at a blank page, like, what the heck am I going to write? AI can give you that starter. And once you've got that starter, it's up to you to go in and actually, tweak it and make it your own. Like, here, you know what? I'm full of great ideas today. So let's say people that are watching today, they have a book. You have a book. You want to speak. You've got a book. You can upload the galley copy of your book or the PDF of your book to ChatGTP, and you can say, "Give me 10 article ideas." And this is how it's changed. I used to say, "Just give me 10 article ideas," and it would give me 10 article ideas from the book. But if you say, "Give me 10 article ideas that would appeal to whoever my audience is," then it'll give you those 10 article ideas that are for that audience. Because you don't want to just have random articles from your book. You want articles that are going to appeal to the people that can potentially hire you. So then you've got these 10 article ideas, and then you just go with each one of them. Write me a 700-word article on article idea one. That gets you 75% of the way there. You take that, because it's from your book, and you rewrite it
Mm.
so it doesn't sound like AI.
I absolutely love that. One thing that we highly encourage our speakers to do is because it's free and it's so powerful. Every speaker should have a LinkedIn newsletter. Every connection you make on LinkedIn automatically invites them to your newsletter. It's a professional space. It's such an incredible tool. And I don't have the time, right, to write the articles. Aiden just gave you the shortcut there. You just need the foundation. It's going to become yours. Anytime I use AI, I kind of cut out about at least a third of it, put in my own thoughts, zhuzh up the rest to make it mine. But it basically organizes thoughts. It organizes what I
Yeah.
already know. Yeah.
And with the LinkedIn newsletter, which I love those. If you go to the newsletter, you can actually you can schedule them. So if you have those 10 articles, you can schedule them to go out every week. So it's not like you have to do this every week. If you've got 4 hours on a Sunday, or you're on a plane, let's say you're on a plane
Yeah.
and you're going across country, schedule 10 or 15 articles for 10 or 15 weeks on LinkedIn. So every Monday there's an article going out, right?
Yeah.
A 4 hour flight across the country, you can do that, right? And AI helps you, it just speeds it along. It's made our jobs so much easier because it helps us do our jobs in a way that you wouldn't be able to do 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. Now
Mm.
it's like, what do you want to be a speaker? The AI really is your partner in your business if you treat it like a partner. And it's not an equal partner, it's a junior partner.
Mm.
and treat it as the junior partner. It's giving you ideas, it's helping you out, but the business is still yours. And your job is to, you know, to use some fancy advisor language, your fiduciary duty is to your family and to your own bank account. You got to make sure. And with the AI, you're only paying them $20 a month. That's the, like I said, best deal. I did a webinar a couple months ago, and I did a poll. Who's paying the $20? And it's an evergreen webinar. It's still running. Last time I checked, only 57% of the speakers that have watched this webinar, there's been a couple hundred watch it now, are paying the $20 a month. That means that the other 42% are falling behind, because those 57% are now using, and what percentage of that 57% are actually using it properly to create those articles, find those leads, rewrite their LinkedIn profile, rewrite their homepage. If you were to say, one of the great tips I got from somebody else I was just talking to, when you're like, a lot of people are using ChatGPT to write their emails. So if you say, write this in the style of David Ogilvy, who was the greatest marketing writer in history, but he's dead, so he can't sue me for doing this. Write this in the style of David Ogilvy. The communications you send out are going to be better. I got a reply back last week. I'd sent an email to an attorney, and his reply was, "This is a really good email. Most of them suck." It's like, this is what I did. This is what I wanted to write about. Do it in the style of David Ogilvy. I did a little rewrite of my own at the end. It was a pretty good email. It took me 5 minutes, but that would take ages before to come up with that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, okay. Love what you're saying. And this is a highly competitive field, right? Everybody quit their jobs in 2021, 2020, 2021, and they became either a consultant or a speaker. Like a massive amount of people did. And if you're looking for those $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 engagements on a consistent basis, there's going to be some, it doesn't matter how fabulous you are, there's going to be some elbow grease that's going to have to go in there. AI can help you do the things that the other speakers aren't willing to do, that will set you up, right? That will set you apart. And I will say, I have a whole internal research team. And part of that team is simply going back through and updating. Leads go stale within 2 months, definitely within 6 months. A really great lead goes stale really fast. So AI can help get that updated information, right? Their 2025 uh, employee appreciation event already happened. Let's look at or they already have the speakers for that. Let's look at 2026. All of that can keep you steps ahead of the curve if you utilize, or you have people like you and me who help you utilize the tools that are readily out there, yet in a smart and intelligent way that's actually going to make it work
Well,
for
it's
you to
funny
reach
you
your
say that.
goals.
Last week, I've got an addiction. My addiction is I keep building these AI tools. I just can't help myself. So I did a networking event at the end of last month, and we were talking about making those sales conversations. And afterwards, somebody said, "Is it possible to build an AI tool to help me with the sales conversations?" And I thought about it for a minute. I said, "Maybe." So I fired up my internet machine and went in, and I created a tool where you put in the website of the organization you want to talk to, the LinkedIn profile of the organization you want to talk to, your own website, and your LinkedIn profile. It finds commonalities and writes an introduction letter,
Wow.
right? So it'll reference an event that organization did and say, I was on LinkedIn and I noticed you did whatever in September. That's great. And then it finds a commonality so that you can break the ice.
Mm-hmm.
So even between having those, just instead of just going out looking for people when you want to work or when they're looking for, you want to build those relationships, and AI just helps you get those relationships established. Because at the end of that introduction letter, it's like, do you mind if I connect with you on LinkedIn? So it's asking them for permission to connect with them. So the call to action is, do you mind if I connect with you on LinkedIn?
Yeah.
So give them that question that they can respond to. Sure, connect with, nice to hear from you. Connect with me on my LinkedIn. Then you're in their network.
We are so aligned, Aiden, on so many levels. So you're a veteran of the industry for 20 years. I'm a veteran for 30 years. And the foundation is the foundation. It just love it or hate it. It is what it is.
It's relationship.
Making those phone calls, building the relationships, that's what's going to get you those consistent high level engagements. And you sometimes you got to swallow some of the lower paid engagements
Well,
in order to get that consistent flow of higher paid
now,
engagements.
when you said it's a highly competitive industry, I would take an opposite tack to that because I don't
Okay.
actually think it's because there's over 100,000 associations in America. That's plenty of work.
Mm.
Every association has meetings. Right? I'm not even talking about corporate. I'm just talking like associate. So that's 100,000 meetings, and that's only if they have one meeting a year. A
Mm.
lot of them have two. Some of them have monthly. Think of the opportunity. There's the opportunities are endless for events,
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter what the economy's like. The raison d'etre of every association is to have meetings.
Yeah.
So if you're targeting just the corporate angle, what's the easiest thing for corporate people to cut? The internal training and the speaker at their AGM, right? Nice and easy. We can cancel those ones, save ourselves some money. But if I'm an association, I have to have meetings. And my budget might get a little tighter on speakers, but I still have to bring speakers in. And as a speaker, if you can demonstrate your value to the audience and the association, then it's a lot easier to sell your speaking.
Well, I do have a lot of speakers that'll say, I don't want to speak to associations. And this breaks my heart, um, because we know the power of that, right? But because their budgets are usually a bit tighter, they may not be paying speakers $25,000, but they have all the right fit faces in the audiences, right? You're paid to go speak to your perfect audience. Like there's so much wisdom in that. And yet I definitely have some pushback on that from speakers.
So
Can you speak to that a bit?
yeah, I can. So here's the speaker business funnel that I promote. So everybody wants the keynote because they're sexy. The sexy keynote, there's 500,000 people in the room. It's super sexy to do the keynote. You get off the stage after your keynote, get your check, head back to the airport. What you've done is you've warmed up that audience for every one of the breakout speakers. So what you should be doing is if you get the keynote, offer to do a breakout on the same day. This is important, on the same day, complimentary. Your day's
Mm,
already your day is already shot. Your goal from the breakout session is to have two or three people come up to you and say, "Hey, Aidan, I need you to come into my organization." That's what your goal is. So
yeah.
if you do a breakout, that's the 60,000 foot view talk, right? It's the grand idea, I like to call it. If you do when you move down to the breakout session from the keynote, you get to go a little bit more in detail. So that's the practical application. How do I practically apply that grand idea? Anybody who's followed you from the keynote to the breakout is a highly engaged prospect.
Yeah.
So now they've bought into the idea at the keynote, they follow you to the breakout. Your job is to give them the practical application so they can see in their own minds how this would apply to their businesses.
I love that. I encourage speakers to have a day rate, right? Not
Your,
necessarily a
your
keynote
day's a
fee.
write off anyway, right?
Yeah,
It's a
it's
write off.
already there. You get to shake hands, get to build those relationships. Really hard to build relationships when you pop up on stage and head out the back door after. It is your body is there, your mind should be there. Just be fully there. That's your gold. That's your golden room. You've had third party validation. People are got to hear you, got to see you in action. They're still processing, there's something to Aidan Crawford, and I bet he might work really well in our ABC. You just leave the room, they don't get a chance to shake your hand, to talk to you a little bit, and they're off to the next thing, and they may or may not ever reach out to you. But if
Well,
you're right there, they will.
and that's exactly it. And the whole thing is what you want is if you could, and here's another AI tip for you. So let's
Yeah.
say you've got your request, you've got your RFP, you've got your generic RFP down with the short description, long description, takeaways and benefits. You got all that stuff in your description. You could upload that to ChatGPT and say, turn this into a breakout proposal, and it will turn it into a breakout proposal. You could then say, turn this into an internal workshop with outline and timeline. So you're speaking at that conference, you've done the keynote, you're doing the breakout. Somebody comes up to you and says, Aidan, I need you to come into can you do a workshop for me? I just happen to have an internal workshop based on the programs that I did today, right on my website. You want to get them as close to a yes as they can. You want to say, yeah, follow up with me next week and we'll talk about it. You need to already have that program ready. So it's like, yeah, sure. Yeah. It's like, I love what you said in the keynote. Love what you said in the breakout. How do we work with you to bring you in? It's like, I just happen to have the internal workshop ready to go. And here's the magic. I learned this from David Newman years ago. You don't have to build it until somebody hires you. Right? So you have an internal workshop outline. It's there. If somebody goes, hey, Antoniette, I need you to deliver this. It's not going to be tomorrow. It's going to be next month, 2 months from now. You've got months to build this thing. Right? So have that ready and use the AI to help you create the write-ups for these programs and the marketing material behind these programs, so you can kind of speed along and you're not always waiting on tenterhooks for people to call you back. It's like, hey, I met with 4 different people at my breakout session. They want me to come in and do $30,000 trainings for half day. It's like, that's great.
Pretty valuable day. Yeah,
That's a
pretty
pretty good
valuable.
day.
Yep.
And like for speakers in the association market, most of the time it's going to be between $4,500 and $7,500. Like, I'm not gonna blow smoke up anybody's butt. It's not $10,000 or $20,000 most of the time, unless you're a celebrity.
Yeah.
Celebrity. I worked with a guy one time, and he said, "There's 2 types of speakers in the world. There's celebrities and the rest of us."
That is so true, and that's why I think there's some pushback from certain speakers who are already, commanding those maybe $20,000 checks against associations, but your $20,000 checks are in those association. So you're
Yeah,
getting paid $7,500 instead of running ads and doing the thing. You're getting paid to get in front of your
you're
right.
showcasing.
Yeah, go
Again,
ahead.
you're getting paid to showcase in front of decision makers that can
Yeah.
bring you into their own organization.
Okay, let's say that again because that was really good. You're getting paid to showcase in front of decision makers. Yep.
Yeah, paid to showcase in front of decision makers that can bring you into their organizations for training,
Amen.
which is where the money is.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just want to be a speaker. It's like, that's great. That's totally fair. But you want to maximize the revenue of each day you're working. Anytime you're on stage is an opportunity for the next time you're on stage.
Mhm.
You're always showcasing. Even if it's a corporate event, you're speaking at a corporate, like a big thank you kind of recognition event. That's still you basically auditioning for that company to bring you in to do something else.
It is an audition. I love that you're saying that. And there are, I think, speakers who get enough of those $25,000 engagements where they feel like, I don't need to audition, right? Well, if you want 3 to 5 of those every single month, you kind of need to continue to audition, and it's okay. The best names do, the biggest names do. If you're okay with maybe 4 to 5 of those in a year, you probably don't need to get on those stages and get in front of your RFPs, right? Your right fit people.
But
Otherwise, if
with
you're
the
serious about a real speaker life business that's very prosperous and gives you the freedoms that you want, you keep yourself humble a bit, right?
yes, you want to be a partner, not a pain. You
Ooh, be a
don't
partner, not a pain. Love
you
it.
don't want to be a diva. You want to be the easiest person to work with.
Mhm.
And AI gives you that opportunity to be that easy person because you're giving them everything they need. And that's what the focus needs to be on. It needs to be on what problem do I solve? If I'm solving a problem and I can connect an ROI to that problem. I'm not just like pulling a number out. Yeah, I'm a $20,000 speaker. Why? Because I am. No, what is the ROI of me bringing you in? And this is an important thing for all speakers to listen and to internalize. Speaking is not something that's driven by seniority. It's a meritocracy. If you bring value, I don't want to hear people saying, "I'm new, so I shouldn't be getting. I'm only starting out, so I don't. So I'm not going to get paid very much." It's like that's a fallacy.
It
If
is.
there is value behind what you're selling, you will be able to sell it.
Yeah.
So
And
don't.
nobody's paying for your hour. They're paying for the decades that brought the culmination of
Oh,
solutions and point of view and the way that
exactly.
your approach. That's what they're paying for. So if you know your stuff, which you should, that's what they're paying for, not the fact that you got paid $20,000 your last doc, and they're definitely not paying for your hour.
No, it's all about the value you're bringing to that meeting, and that value can be, I'm going to knock it out of the park, and everybody's going to say, "Wow, that speaker was great. I'm coming back next year." Right? Even as simple as that. If you think about it, if you're a speaker and you get paid 10 grand, right? They're going to have, if, let's say there's 500, let's say there's 1,000 people. It's a nice big meeting, 1,000 people, and they're all paying $1,500 or 200 or $1,500 or $2,000 to attend this thing, right? You're not like $10,000 is not a big chunk of that. And for people that say, "Oh, we don't pay speakers," it's like, great. So I'm going to go up there. The person giving the coffee out is getting paid. The person setting up the chairs is getting paid. The person who's doing the sound is getting paid. Everybody in that room is probably there on their organization's dime. They are getting paid to be there. The only person in that room not getting paid would be you.
So I look at that a little bit differently, and I wanna talk about this a bit because I wanna see the bridge because I think we have a bridge here. So I'm feeling like that speaker is getting paid because it takes I was a producer before I was an agent. It takes a lot of flipping work, a lot of marketing to fill that room with the right fit people. I have a ready-made ability to get in front of not only just stand in front of that audience, but stand in front of that audience endorsed by the person they already trust. That's a huge payment in my book. As long as you work the room, like you said, as long as you don't just kind of tick the box, walk off the stage, then you've really wasted, you have wasted a day. But that room is a gold mine, worked right, of people who are looking for your solutions to bring into their organizations, or maybe premium level clients, just depending on that next thing that you
If,
sell
it,
as a speaker.
if it's the
Mhm.
right fit,
Yeah,
yes. But I see a lot of speakers jumping on. Ah,
anything,
it was
anything.
anything. It's like, but who? So was there anybody in that audience? It's like no. It's like, so why did you spend money
That
on a
wasn't the
podium?
right stage for them. Right, exactly.
Like, why are you agreeing to do this? I am still like you and I are kind of maybe on the opposite ends of this. I am 100% revenue driven this year. That's it. I'm not going to be celebrating TEDx's. I'm not going to be celebrating your free talk to the Chamber of Commerce. If you're a pro, you need to get paid. You need my mortgage doesn't get paid by exposure.
Now, I
My
am actually really with you on that, but I also am, I want speakers to see there are layers
Yeah,
of currency.
I guess I need to see what the return is going to be. If I can
Yeah,
understand what the ROI is on me speaking, that's different.
yeah.
If I can't see an ROI on it, I'm not going to do it. It's yeah, it's not, you're not my ideal audience. Another,
If you're a speaker who is, speaking on leadership, right? In some sort of local chamber wants you to speak to dog catchers.
yeah,
Not worth your time at all, unless they're gonna give you $20,000, then, to me, even that's not worth my time because I'm not necessarily going for the $20,000. It's a great, great, great payday, but I want every effort that I make to multiply. You said that,
oh
earlier,
yeah,
multiply that monetization, and if I'm in the wrong room, then that 20,000, I'd really have to weigh out whether that was worth my energy and my time versus taking a $25,000 check and or $20,000 check, whatever it might be, and being in front of my right fit people. Obviously, that's the best of
Yeah,
all worlds.
and one of the tools that I don't want to not mention is Talkadot. Hopefully, everybody.
I've actually interviewed the
Carol,
co-founder of Talkadot.
yeah,
Incredible. Talk
yeah.
a little bit about how you utilize that. I would love that. And then we need to introduce you in a moment. So you go ahead.
No, no, no. Talkadot's great. So in our membership community in the ASSC, everybody uses it. The whole idea that they're finding these leads through Talkadot, the way it collects them and answers the question, like does the question and gives you the great graphics and stuff. It's an amazing tool. It is like we talk about AI and how AI can help accelerate things. But when you get Talkadot, that's actually feeding you leads as well. Because one of the questions, like who's hiring speakers in the next 6 months? Are you interested? You're getting that list for doing outreach. And
Mhm.
that's how you build your business. And again, Talkadot isn't as cheap as ChatGTP,
Mhm.
but you have to look at the return on
It's
what it.
another tool in your toolkit.
You can try and do this on the cheap. You're going to be working very hard with limited results. At
Right.
some point, you put a little bit of money into it, and that money is an investment. When I hear people aren't paying for ChatGTP, but it's like, but you're paying for Hulu, you're paying for Netflix, you're paying for Disney. That money's just out the door.
Priorities. Right. Yeah.
Right? $20 a month for ChatGTP, that'll do basically help you run your business as a junior member, a junior partner. It's a no-brainer.
I love that. Yeah.
Absolutely no-brainer.
Okay, at about this time in the show, I know there are bunches of people who are going to want to know how to reach Aidan Crawford. So, where are the places you like to be found, Aidan?
So primarily it's LinkedIn. If you just go Aidan Crawford, I usually show up with my AI generated avatar. It makes me look skinnier and younger. It's awesome. Another use for AI, instaheadshots.com. Uh, then, so LinkedIn, Short Circuit Media is my speaking website. So you can find stuff at Short Circuit Media. And then speakercommunity.org is my membership community for more seasoned speakers. And that's for CSPs and people that have been doing it for 5 years plus. And then I've got another group for emerging speakers called speakingbusiness.club. And both those groups, they meet once a week, focused on revenue. That's all we care about, money. For
Okay.
not my money. I don't have any. But, the people I work with, we're trying to we're all focused on getting their revenue goal.
Great, great, Aidan. Definitely reach out to Aidan. He is a wealth of information. But even if you just connect with him on LinkedIn, he is always putting out great content. And going back to the only person who AI is not good for is the person who doesn't embrace it. I know I'm paraphrasing, but you really give tactical, practical ways to utilize it in with wisdom.
Yeah,
Right, a good tool in your hand recklessly used can be dangerous,
it's
and
it's
AI can be utilized very wrong and can kind of
it's
lead you
funny
in
you
the
say
wrong.
that because
Yep.
one of the analogies I've been using recently in my presentations is you could gift me every tool in the Black and Decker kind of toolbox. I still couldn't finish my basement because I don't know how to use them. So signing up for Perplexity and Gemini, it's like signing up for all these multiple AIs. Pick one and learn to use it well.
Mm,
That would there you will get very confused if you just like, oh, this is the next great AI tool. And so then you're giving $20 to this Perplexity, or you're giving it's just $20 to everybody every month. All of a sudden, you're spending $1,000 a month on stuff you never use.
right. Yep.
So my advice is pick one, learn to use it well, and that will help you a lot more than picking the 10 hottest tools this month and signing up for them with their free 7-day pass, and then you get charged $20 or $10 at the end of that 7 days, but because it's so low you don't even think about it, and then a year from now it's like, I'm still paying for that.
Mm. Oh, golly, I do that all the time. That was a golden tip right there. That's gonna save you plenty
Lots,
to get
lots.
that one really good tool. That'll save you bunches. All right, Aiden, you know my signature question, and you kind of already have done this all the way through, but let's do it again. What is a tactical, practical practice that every speaker can do that's going to get them those next level uh, engagements in terms of value, but also increase the number of engagements that they're booked for so that their calendar can be full?
Okay, I hope everybody's taking notes because this is a two-parter. This
Okay.
nothing worth doing is easy. So this is going to be the first part is super simple. Go to ChatGTP and ask for the top 20 convention cities in America. Right? It'll give you the top. It'll be Vegas, Orlando, Atlanta. They're all there. And then what you want to do is you want to go ChatGTP 4.5. Depending on when you're listening to this, maybe they'll have 5 out by the time this thing. But 4.5 is good. Say, find me, or sorry, the prompt you're going to use is, I am a speaker on X. The problem I solve is Y, and my audience is Z. X, Y, Z. That's it. I got them in order. I can still read. Semi-literate. Find events in Las Vegas in October 2025 where I would be a good fit. And then you do October. So you have to go 6 months out because that's when they're booking speakers. So October,
Yes.
do the same thing for October, November, December. That's 3 months, right? Same query for those 3 months. Paste those into a Word document. Go back and do the same thing for Orlando, do the same thing for Atlanta, do the same thing for Dallas, do the same thing for all of those top 20 convention cities. I'm no genius, but I can tell you that when you finish that, let's say they just have 3 events per city per month for you. That's 9 events per city over those 3 months, those 3-month period. That's 180 events. That is now your prospecting list.
So could you do the same thing for associations? Also, I'd like for you to let's close on this. I'd like for you to speak a bit about pay rates, base pay rates for conventions versus corporate training engagements. A little
Sure.
insight there.
So there is no standard pay rate. There is no standard pay rate. It's what the ROI is from you coming in. You need to be able to articulate your value. If
Mhm.
you can't articulate your value, you're just picking a number out of your butt and saying I'm a $20,000 speaker.
Yep.
Like you need to understand the market. And you know, if you don't understand what the value you're delivering is, it's very hard to ask for with a straight face for 20 grand. For association work, it's changed since COVID. It has changed since COVID. I'm going to say most of the people that I know are getting paid between the low end would be 45 and 75. I start at 75. All right. Any lower than that, and it might as well be charity. Any
Mhm.
more than that, that's when they start going, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna. Then it becomes an argument about you have to justify your rates. So 75 to 10 grand would be the next band. And then if you're a celebrity speaker and you can deliver crazy value, then you go even higher. But for most speakers, it's between 45 and 7,500 bucks you're going to get. Here is something that I didn't mention earlier that I think is really critical. A lot of speakers overlook webinars. Like I did a webinar for the American Bus Association not that long ago. Got 2 grand. It's better than a kick in the teeth. I didn't have to leave the house, right? I got to sit in front of my computer. I have 4 kids and a wife I want to keep. I don't like traveling that much. So, but a couple grand for doing a webinar. And a lot of the associations, a lot of the even the private companies, they will do webinars, educational webinars. And so think about pitching for webinars as well. That is the easy money that can keep you going while you're looking for the bigger checks.
Mm. Excellent advice. You have a gift for our audience. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that prompt
Sure.
sheet you have? Yep.
Oh yes, the prompt sheet. So last month I was doing a presentation and I created a 12-page prompt sheet for speakers. So I called the speaker cheat sheet, speaker prompt cheat sheet. So basically it's 12 pages to show you how to use prompts properly to find gigs, customize gigs, and create marketing material around your stuff. So the link will be there. If it's not there now, it'll be there soon. So that is there. I also create, AIs. So I've got a new thing with speakers. I was saying a bit earlier. I actually spoke in Chicago at Roosevelt University in November, and afterwards, the guy I was co-presenting with, he asked me, "It's like, so how do we keep this going?" I said, "Well, I've got all these AIs that I've built for the community. Everybody in the community has access to these AIs." And then it hit me, or I could just train an AI on our stuff. And every speaker I talked to after I showed them it, they said, "Can you build one for me?" I said, "Sure." So I'm now building AIs for speakers trained on their books, their websites, their LinkedIn profiles, transcripts of stuff, everything they have. The AI is trained on it and it only finds events that are a good fit for them.
Great. Yeah.
And
What a resource.
so,
That's incredible.
and then it customizes the outreach with a customized email, voicemail, request for proposal after it researches the top 3 challenges of people attending that event.
So
So,
we'll put those links
yeah,
in the description so you can
and you
find
know what?
a nice and easy. Go
And
ahead.
I'll give you a discount code so people can use a discount code.
Woohoo.
So
Okay.
no,
Yay, yay.
nobody pays full pop for things.
All right. So thank you, Aidan. And thank you, our beautiful Speak Pact audience, for being on this same pact to create the biggest impact possible with the power of our voices. At the end of the day, a prosperous, fabulous speaker life is incredible, but it's not so incredible if we're not making that impact with our collective voices. So thank you for being on this journey with me. And Aidan, thank you
Hey,
for
no problem.
sharing your hard earned wisdom with us. This has been jam packed, full of actionable tools that we can each implement.
That's fantastic. Anybody who wants to reach out to me, I'll give you half an hour. It's better than real work. Just make an appointment. I'll talk to you about your business. Nice and easy.
Love, love that. All right. Ciao,
All right,
ciao
guys.
for now.
Bye.